Let's begin with reactions that are still pouring in over the death of Rotimi Akeredolu, who until yesterday was the governor of Ondo State. President Bola Tinubu described the governor as his brother and a man of ideas and action. Governor Rotimi Akeredolu battled with leukemia and prostate cancer and even had to be flown to Germany for treatment. Lucky Aiyedatiwa, who served as his deputy, has now been sworn in as the new governor. He has declared 3 days of mourning in the state, with flags to be flown out half-mast beginning today. Now, more details in this report.
A second-term governor before his death, Aketi, as fondly called by friends and admirers, wore many hats and was acknowledged by many of his contemporaries as a dogged leader with unbending personal convictions. Until his death, he was the chairman of the Southern Governors Forum, a body with governors of the 17 states from 3 geopolitical zones: the Southwest, South-South, and the Southeast. Governor Akeredolu led 5 of his colleagues in the Southwest as chairman, championing many reforms, including security. Prominent among this was the establishment of the Southwest Security Network, codenamed Amotekun. He won his re-election as Ondo State Governor in October 2020 and was sworn in for a second term in office in February 2021.
Do solemnly swear that I will be faithful and bear true allegiance to the Federal Republic of Nigeria.
However, his second term was marred with controversies amid health battles.
Prosperity,
It is on record that Governor Akeredolu was at the forefront of the rotational presidency in the build-up to the 2023 presidential election.
Ondo State is a progressive state.
He will be remembered for his stance that power must return to the South. The governor had to be flown abroad for treatment for his medical condition in June. He returned to Nigeria in September after a month overseas, but stayed in Ibadan, the Oyo State capital. Eventually, the governor transmitted power to Lucky Aiyedatiwa on the 13th of December when he embarked on another medical leave to Germany.
Reactions are pouring in on the death of former Governor Rotimi Akeredolu. President Bola Tinubu says his heart is heavy to write a tribute for the departed soul. In a statement, the president described him as a fearless brother, confident, and a political soulmate. President Bola Tinubu, in addition, described him as a man of ideas and action and a fearless defender of the truth and the masses. For the governor of Ondo State, Dr. Abiodun, he described the death of his counterpart, Rotimi Akeredolu, as tragic. In his condolence message to the government, family, and the people of Ondo State, Governor Dr. Abiodun describes Rotimi Akeredolu as a dogged fighter, a visionary leader with unwavering dedication to his people and social justice throughout his lifetime. Governor of Kogi State, Yaya Bello, described Rotimi Akeredolu as a forward-thinking progressive leader with unwavering commitment and dedication in the steering of ship of democracy and good governance during his 7-year tenure as governor of Ondo State. The chairman of Nigeria Governors Forum and Kwara State Governor Abdurrahman Abdurrazak paid a condolence visit to the family of Akeredolu in Ibadan. He visited his Ibadan residence alongside his vice and governor of Oyo State, Seyi Makinde.
It's indeed a great loss for the nation. This is a man that had risen to the heights of his chosen career at the bar. He was a senior advocate of Nigeria. He's risen to the heights of politics.
This is somebody that
a courageous individual.
And the Ondo State chapter of the All Progressives Congress is in a sad mood. Chairman of Ondo State Christian Association of Nigeria has described the death of Rotimi Akeredolu as a colossal loss to the state and Nigeria as a whole. For the Interior Minister, Olubunmi Tunji-Ojo, the death of Akeredolu is a colossal loss to the state and the nation at large. He described him as a true exemplary leader. Southwest Caucus of the Senate has expressed deep sorrow among the death of the former governor of Ondo State and chairman of the Southwest Governors Forum, describing his passing as a painful loss of monumental proportion.
And may his soul continue to rest in peace. We also condole with the family of the late governor that they find some respite in this period of trial, so to speak.
That's right. Yesterday when the news came in, I can remember yesterday before we left the breakfast show, we were talking about Gali Naba.
Yes,
that was the breaking news that you took yesterday before we ended the show. And then much later on, I think about 9 a.m. or thereabouts, we got the news of his death. At that time, right on the thread, it was like, okay, was it dead? Is it still alive? That kind of
we needed to confirm.
We needed to confirm before, of course, first we breaking news, but then we had to check and recheck and
do
confirm.
Due diligence.
Absolutely, before we went to, to the press with it. But, it's a very sad thing, He's a man that I respected so much. I still respect the fact that, he's got legacies and the fact that whenever he said something, he stands by it. Remember the electioneering, he was one of those who fought for presidency to be, returned back to the South. That, whatever it is that we want to do, no matter what we do, this 2023 election, the presidency must be back to the South. And then he also championed the Amotekun Corps, saying that this is what we need to do
in the Southwest.
Exactly, to protect ourselves. Imagine the marauders, the attackers, up north and all of those
places.
And
Akure was feeling the hit.
Absolutely, at that time. So much so that the now crowned Oba, former one of the ministers, Olufalaye. Remember, he was also a presidential candidate then. He was also kidnapped, right on his own farmland. And, a lot of things happened. The fashionalty's daughter also was killed as a result of these attacks and all of that. And, he was one of the governors who fought for the, restoring sanity back into the security architecture in the country.
Right. It's there's a lot to say about him. No wonder the words pouring in, talking about the condolences, the messages pouring in for him, and the president saying that he mourns his brother, his fearless brother. And indeed, he was fearless because of some of the things that you have spoken. He was vocal, and he stood by all he said, and he ensured that everything was carried out to the latter. We have joining us now essayist Sam Omasheye, who will be talking to us also about the times and the life of the late Rotimi Akeredolu. Good morning, Sam. It's good to have you join us.
Good morning, Veronica. Good to join you too.
Right.
Congratulations on your NMMA award.
Thank you. Thank you very much. Thank you. An unfortunate incident with regards to the passing of former Governor Rotimi Akeredolu yesterday. And so much messages have been pouring in with regards to his person and what he stood for. I wonder what your perception of him was while he was alive.
Well, I had the privilege of being perhaps the last person to have a major interview with him before the illness collapsed, his capacity to really function normally. And at that time, when I interviewed him, he had just come back, I think it was about a year ago. He had just, over a year ago, about the beginning of 2022, if I recall properly. And the interview was postponed because he was going abroad to take care of himself. So when he came back, we had the interview here in Lagos, and I asked him about how he felt. And there was this sense that he already knew that the prognosis was not good. Because I tried to get something cheerful about him, about his illness, and it just, he never used the word, but it was just the expression on his face, reflected deep-seated puzzle and despair. He couldn't say it, and I just stopped pressing. At least when somebody goes to hospital and comes back and say, well, I'm feeling better, I'm a little okay, and so on, there was no such scintilla of hope from anything I saw in him. Yet, he still soldiered on. That was the thing about Akeredolu. He was a fighter. And I remember him as one of Nigeria's great lawyers, one of Nigeria's fighter for the federal system, for justice, and also for justice in the realm of vault of justice. He spoke in that interview about the fact that even in our justice system, there seems not to be justice.
Amazing. But then looking at some of the incidences that happened before his death, the fact that he was brought back to the country, to maybe he was able to witness some of the politicking that happened in his government before his exit. Some from among his cabinet or those who are loyal to him said that most of the things that happened shouldn't have happened in the government of former Governor Akeredolu, because he's a man who believed in the rule of law. What was your reading? How did you feel about some of the things that happened that predated his death, which he was not able to, come out and, vent his own opinion about?
The man is dead now, and Sophocles said that a dead man cannot testify at his own funeral. That's the way the thing is. So we cannot really see and ask him, which of those things did you do, or which of those things were actually done on your behalf, and did it just because some people wanted power? The thing that happened during those months where we couldn't see him, when he was in Ibadan, when he was abroad, and when people said he was signing some signatures, and some people thought that the signatures were forged, we never heard anything from him. You see, he cannot even testify, even when he was probably not alive, as it were, in a functional sense. So he could not even say that he was alive to even witness it, because it was the same Akeredolu who had said, as a top lawyer in this country during the time of Aiyedatiwa's crisis, which was similar to him, when he said that Aiyedatiwa should hand over, when his wife was trying to, give the impression that he was still functioning and all of that. So that was a kind of a paradox at that time. But his health was not good. You see, and then all the drama that happened with Aiyedatiwa and his folks, and the threats that the state was going to collapse and was not going to get governance when he was there, all of this showed the vanity of power. That much of this, is just much ado about nothing. Because what is it? Now he's dead, the whole thing has come to an end. What is that power? Power is that diaphanous nothing, which we all struggle for. It is intangible, yet it rules everything. Is that bad that it happened? There's a place in the Bible that says, hold out fast which thou hast, or else they take their crown from thee. That was what was going on. They're trying to hold fast to it, and so on, and then they are trying to take the crown from him. Now the crown is gone, and somebody else has it. We have peace. You see, what including English they call gra-gra. That is what went on. And it turned out that it's nothing. Ebenezer Obey said, this life is worth nothing. It is vanity upon vanity. All is vanity. That's what it turned out to. So we have to distinguish between life and power and know that power is transient. As Dryden said, he said, as life, as a stream is, power is. It flows. It flows. And if it flows, it can't stay in one place. I can't stay with one person. I can't stay with one person forever.
Right.
It turned out true that Aiyedatiwa should have relaxed himself and waited for his time. But he couldn't wait for what was even his. It's like a little child. You are bringing the food to him, and the child is trying to, jump over the mother's chest, as if in bosom, as if you don't bring the food, the next second the food will disappear. But it is coming. It is coming.
Right. Well, like you have said, vanity upon vanity, all is vanity as it is. But now the governor, Lucky Aiyedatiwa, has been sworn in. He has, also gotten some new aids and now declared 3 days of mourning for the passing of Rotimi Akeredolu. I wonder what more you would expect to see with regards to immortalizing the person of Rotimi Akeredolu in the state and how he should be celebrated even in death because of what he did for the people.
Well, a Senegalese French writer, David Diop, wrote in his latest novel that, the monuments of the people are in their stories. So the stories remain with us from time to time, documented in history, documented in our lives and all of that. But in modern times, because of our historical illiteracy in this part, it is important that we try to build some kind of monuments to him, something like a library to him, or a museum for him, or a big statue that when anybody sees it, they can say, okay, who was this man? At least that can help to immortalize it. But the most important legacy or tribute that we can pay to Akeredolu is to try to fulfill what he spent his life fighting for. He wanted rule of law. He wanted an incorruptible governor. Wanted incorruptible governance. He wanted federalism in the country. He fought for all this. He wanted democracy to be pursued with every sense of justice and every sense of responsibility. That is the best way to remember a person, not just by putting the monuments, which are fine, because the monuments will help you ask, what does this man stand for? And then can we fulfill it? And those are very important. Today we have monuments for all kinds of rascals. We still have streets named after Sani Abacha. We have street names after those people who oppressed us in this country. We won't have streets named after a road, a river in Europe, that people don't know. They don't even pronounce it well. Danube, they say Danube, because they Nigerianize it, but it's actually named after a river in Europe. So we don't even understand the meaning of monuments. But it's good to build a monument to him. But the best way, as I said, is to make sure that we immortalize his stories and the cause for which he lived.
Talking about immortalization, do you also not consider the fact that he was a fighter? He fought through governance, fought through his health, but then he was not able. He gave in at a point. People now said, or critics now said that if he had probably worked on building the health sector, making it stronger in a state, that it probably would not. Maybe what had happened wouldn't have happened, or that that should be one of the legacies which the newly sworn-in governor should work on, ensuring that health sector or the health service is accessible to ordinary citizens.
Well, this is a conversation we always have when celebrities die, when governors, presidents, ministers, people in position of authority, when they die. This is the conversation we always have. They always have to go abroad to treat themselves. They always have to go abroad to do all of that. When this man had COVID, Johnson, we all saw it here, how he fought hard with inside the UK. to get himself well. He was treated inside. We had some here who died because we didn't even have the capacity here to even treat, and they could not fly them abroad. There was a moment that we should have looked back and said, look, we have to take our health care seriously. And if we don't take our health care seriously, it will always come and bite us. Well, in the case of Akeredolu, we will have said, do something. Some of them, some people are trying their best to build good hospitals. We have the problem with getting the right kind of specialists and so on to treat. For instance, one of the problems he had was prostate cancer, and even in Nigeria, we don't have many doctors who can treat prostate. He also had blood disease, blood cancer, which is difficult. And many people say once you have it, it's a death sentence. And so we always have this conversation. When we turn around to say, okay, let us have this hospital that we know, say at least it can take care of everything. And some of them, and to be fair, we have a few good hospitals in the country now. But the point is that, do we trust our doctors? The top people don't even trust our doctors. Once they have a small headache, oh yeah, where is the next plane? Let me go to London, let me go to Israel or Germany. You had small, your nose is itching you. Say, I don't know what this nose is, so you call your doctor in London. Can I come? Please, let me come tomorrow. I don't know. Because that is the problem with our people. Even when we have the facilities, we don't trust our own competence.
Right. So his death brings to 3 governors who have died in office between 1999 till date. We talk about Patrick Yakoa, Mama Nali, and now Rotimi Akeredolu. What are the lessons that politicians should draw out of this incident?
It's the same thing I said. They hold on to power. And you also have one who didn't die inside, but he died. Was it the one in the one who had the problem with the plane crash? Who had the plane crash? Is this Suntai?
Yes.
Suntai. So it was vegetable even by the time its term expired. So we tend to see power as the be-all and end-all of existence. You know, some of these governors live like monarchs. And to be fair to Akeredolu, he didn't have that air around himself. I visited him in office when he was in good health in Ondo State. I visited him there. And while I was with him, even here in Lagos, the hotel where I conducted the interview with him, he didn't have all those airs with him because he was a simple man to all intents and purposes. But generally, our governors tend to live like glorified monarchs, and they build sanctuaries around themselves. They are puffy, they are cocky, they are feathery. They have they live next to God in heaven. And even when they look upstairs and see God and say, "Are you there? Can you come and bow to me?" They have this kind of sense of the eternity of their flamboyance. But you know, as God told Nebuchadnezzar, your kingdom is departed from you. And once that term expires, you see them that they're just no more than normal human beings. And
all right. We'll definitely get back to Samuel Mashe as soon as we can have him return. It's important. Okay, he's back.
Beware.
Right. Sam, very quickly, let me chip in this question. Before the death of Akeredolu, we know that it was said that the incumbent governor now, Aiyedatiwa, is positioning himself for, to run for governor, as well as the speaker, who was also looking, according to analysis, that he was looking to get the deputy governor out of the way, the then deputy governor out of the way, so that he would be the acting governor. I saw the swearing in yesterday. I did not see the smile on the face of the speaker. But then, what's in the name? Lucky Orimisan Aiyedatiwa, Lucky being lucky, Orimisan being good head, so to speak. Aiyedatiwa, the word is now ours. What is in the name? We've seen that with Good Luck Billy Jonathan and all of that. What would you like to say to these? And then, the challenges ahead of him.
In the Shakiri, that word would be pronounced Orimisan. And, some people say our strength, that's Conrad, he said it in his novel Heart of Darkness. Our strengths are accidents arising out of the weaknesses of others. In other words, sometimes it is not so much our efforts that make us succeed, but also the circumstances, which is what Tolstoy has said about. Even Nixon in his memoir said so, that history affects us more than we affect history. But sometimes if you go around history, you find that so many people who have named Lucky, who are always stumbling into trouble, who never get money, who never marry, who never get a job, and so on. And then we say, this Lucky is unlucky. Well, we also had one Lucky in Edo State, the Gwinnedion. And they were saying that his other brother was bright. So people say it's better to be lucky than bright. so I won't put anything by it. We'll see. And he wants to run for governor. This thing gives him opportunity, because they say that if you have the competency, you can amass resources, you can take over the structure, and be able to run for governor. Well, let us see how that goes. And there's no doubt that he has advantage now with that position. And the speaker, well, let us see what he can muzzle. But you know that essentially it is people who will vote. And if the people don't want you, they don't want you, you can't get it. Remember Obasanjo with his third term, he had all the money. Money was flowing in the National Assembly. I remember this guy saying it yesterday on TVC, Ozumbaku, that people were bringing money in. In spite of that, we didn't get the third term. So let us not put anything to name and all of that and structure. Things can change.
All right. So I was wondering if the passing of Rotimi Akeredolu will resolve all the crises that we saw earlier before he passed, and perhaps Lucky Aiyedatiwa will be able to unite the House as the president proposed when he was trying to wade into the matter.
Yes, I want to say that Lucky Aiyedatiwa didn't really act well. It was too much in a hurry. I gave the metaphor of a child. They're bringing his feeding bottle, and it's on the mother's lap there, and he's trying to jump out of the mother's lap, as if you don't give me this second, the feeding bottle will collapse, or the world will come to an end. Why don't you just wait? He said, the Bible says, by your patience possess your soul. He said, let patience do his perfect work, so that you can be perfect and entire, wanting nothing. No, but it didn't. It was fighting everybody. Why didn't you just cool down? And people were also fighting him. They were fighting over a chimera, something that was transient, something that was disappearing, and something that is intangible. Now that every
All right. Lucky Aiyedatiwa, the speaker.
During those tempestuous months and so on. So let's see how it goes.
Okay.
But it's his job to reconcile and put the state on an even keel.
All right. A very important point there. We'll have to leave the conversation here now. Sam Omashe, columnist, essayist, thank you for your time on the program.
Thank you.
Right.